Adam, thank you for that. Michael SERAPIO is in the thick of that protest, the Olympic protest that's going on at Yonge and Bloor tonight. He's on the phone now. Michael, tell us what's going on there.
Well, Gord, I'm actually coming to you now from Yonge Street at Maitland, just north of College, where more than 1,000 protesters against the Olympic torch relay have literally stopped the torch relay itself from making its way south along Yonge Street. I'm looking right now at a series of Vancouver Games vehicles that are stopped in their tracks as protesters say that they don't want this torch coming through our city. They say it is a of games that is not a unifier, but actually ignore the suffering of people, and also the games taking place on what they say is native land that has never been ceded to the Canadian government. And right now there is a standoff at Yonge Street at Maitland. We have more than a dozen on bicycles, about another dozen police vehicles, and again the Olympic torch relay stuck north of Yonge and Wellesley, as at this point there's a confrontation between the two sides. Gord?
Indication that they're going to let the torch through at this point? Have you spoken to anybody about that?
Well, they are, I think, if I can speak to them, they don't think they can hold it off forever, but they plan to stay here as long as they can to delay the torch. They know that this is not going to cancel the games. They are trying to embarrass games, embarrass the torch relay, and point out that there are other issues here beyond the games themselves.
All right, Michael, thank you very much for that. So the protest continues, but our hope is it'll make its way down to City Hall.
We sure do.
That's City News for tonight. Mark Daly with the next tonight at 11.
We'll see you back here tomorrow. Good night.
Celebrated the way he is, and the really fine work that he's doing.
To business executives.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. I mean, this is the ultimate for anybody who wants to get connected with the Olympic spirit, is to run with this. 1, 2, 3, cheese!
Athletes representing Canada.
To all my peers out there, my 300 meters is for you.
And the first Canadian female astronaut all have one thing in common: Canadian pride.
This is like a mountaintop spaceflight experience, just to represent Canada.
The Olympic flame lit up the entire city today, beginning at about 20 to 4 at Ellesmere, just west of Warden, eventually making its way to the downtown core here at Yonge and Dundas, and these streets here were absolutely packed. What are you waiting to see?
The torch.
The athletes and the crowd are equally diverse. Newcomers to Canada.
I just arrived in Canada, and most Irish people will never see the Olympic flame, so it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me.
And ordinary children with extraordinary determination.
You could feel all the compassion and all of the hope, trust, and dreams, and the unity of Canada.
This is a huge part of this country's history, and I just want to be a part of it.
When the torch leaves here tomorrow, it'll travel as far north as Keswick and then double back to Brampton by the end of the day. At Yonge and Dundas, I'm Andrea Puno, City News.
The relay wasn't all frozen smiles and national pride. Live to Michael SERAPIO with the protest that threatened the way of the torch. Michael.
Well, Mark, there were hundreds of people lined up here at Yonge Street at Yonge-Dundas Square earlier this evening. They were waiting for the torch relay to make its way down, but they ended up waiting a lot longer than expected because a demonstration stopped the Olympic parade in its tracks. Chanting "No Olympics" on stolen native land, hundreds of protesters blocked the torch relay tonight, a high-profile standoff in the heart of the city.
We're a
opposing the Olympics because they're taking place on unceded Indigenous territories. They're happening at the expense of poor people and Indigenous people who are being kicked out of the city while public money is going to fund these games.
Now, this protest started just after 5 o'clock at university and college. They've been trying to make their way through the downtown core. Toronto police keep trying to redirect the protesters, but still they make their way north along Yonge Street.
The protest forced organizers to redirect the relay off of Yonge Street.
It's just disgusting, very disgusting.
Off the road, please!
Robbing many who were waiting for hours the chance to see the flame.
These other Canadians missed out because that protest, not very nice of them.
What we need are social services. What we need are, more housing. What we need is job security. What we need is pensions. But people feel like this is the little joy that we have, and this is a massive trick that's being played on us.
Now, organizers admit their protest isn't going to stop the Olympic Games at this point, but they also say by embarrassing Olympic organizers, they raise issues that are otherwise glossed over by all the hoopla. At YONGE-DUNDAS Square, I'm Michael Serapio. Now back to the newsroom.
There was plenty of hoopla, though, at City Hall, where the Olympic flame made its final appearance for the day, albeit a little late. The torch was carried into Nathan Phillips Square by Olympic medalist and hockey player Vicky Tsunohara, who also lit the cauldron at City Hall. Hundreds of folks turned out for the party and witnessed this moment of history in their own backyard.
This was really unbelievable, the run tonight, and just to see so many people out getting into the Olympic spirit.
So totally cool just to see it come by and know that it's part of the eternal flame.
Just the energy of the crowd and the fact that, it's the Olympic flame right in front of me. It was really cool.
TO singer-songwriter Susie McNeil headlined the party, the after-party at Nathan Phillips Square. Other performances included a high-flying acrobatic show. And here's your torch trivia for tonight. You can use this in the morning. 1,000 torch bearers will carry the flame for the 2 days that it's in our city.